say. But as the famous saying goes, action speaks louder than words. And so therefore, politicians must in their actions strive for peace. We have very distinguished members of the media, clergy, society here with us today. And I know that with your words, your influence, we will be able to achieve peace. The MPP and Nana Akufo-Addo, in no uncertain terms, would want to stress and want to give you our assurance that we will never ever promote anything that will lead to strife in this country. Nana Akufo-Addo would like to assure you again that he is not just saying this by words, but also by deeds, previous and even present, and that we want peace in this country. However, and I must stress, because there are exceptions to every rule, and I know, especially the religious leaders, they may not necessarily agree with what we determine self-defense. However, it is very unfortunate that an issue of self-defense should become a campaign message. But the question is, are the media in particular, the clergy and the security forces, turning a blind eye to the reality? Is that what is happening in this country? If that is so, then we ask, please advise us what to do when we are provoked, when you are attacked, when we see blatant human rights abuses, when we see the EC, who are supposed to be the people in charge, making decisions which in our opinion can only lead to problems in this election. Last-minute constituencies, which in countries like Kenya, who've had the experience, have lawfully said no constituencies in the last year of elections. Should we push this under the carpet? Should we have a situation where the media, who are supposed to observe the elections and let Ghanaians see for themselves, like was done in the United States recently, to tell us everything is okay, there's no cheating, the media is not allowed to vote before so that they can monitor the elections? Is this conducive? So we plead that even though you've talked to us and we have promised to pursue peace, please also talk to even the referee of the match to also pursue peace. We are begging you, because I've never heard of a referee, like the EC told us, that as far as they are concerned, whatever results you bring, they don't care where you bought it from, how you bought it, they will announce it. This is akin to a football match with a referee who says, I'm not going to look at who kicks this one, who puts his stats up high, who uses a foul, who does this. As long as you put the ball in the net, I'll whistle. Can you imagine what a chaotic football match that would be? So we plead that we look at all these issues, but we would give you the assurance that we will strive for peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and our deepest condolences. I think that is just as well. We had heard when the program started, and since it had not come from an official source yet, I did not want to make that announcement, but since Mike has told us now, shall we all rise and observe a minute silence in Islam? When someone dies, we say, Inna lillahi wa ilayhi raji'un. A minute silence for our former Vice President, Alhaji Aliyu Muhammad. May his soul rest in perfect peace. I would now invite Mr. George Sapong from the National Media Commission to also make a brief statement. With a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
My Lord Chair, Prof. Eric Ari, Executive Director, Media Foundation. I hope that the Chair would permit me to acknowledge that my teachers are here, Mrs. Kwame, I've seen Mrs. Amakohene, and a few others that I learned so much from. I thank you very much, Prof. Chair. I think that we can only repeat what has been said already, that the foundation's work has been extremely helpful in improving the media situation in the country in the run-up to the elections. Let me just point something small out. The Media Commission, with support from the European Union and the Star Ghana, is undertaking media monitoring. And one of the things that we have discovered, perhaps to bring our brothers' hopes a bit up, is that in the news, in the media, indecency and hate speech has gone down considerably. And we posit two possible explanations for this. One, and most substantively in our view, is the work that the Media Foundation has done over the period. And two, which is directly related to this in our view, an explanation of it is that because the news is a professional product that is within the hands of the media houses, and noting that public opinion matters for their own existence, and the fact that the Media Foundation is watching, are extremely careful. Now, the other area that you still have problems, particularly in the area of the discussion programs, we believe it is precisely because the degree of control the media houses have on the program are limited, and the essence of spontaneity of programming and all. And therefore, increasingly, all of us, as we get closer into the election, need to look at it more closely and to see what can be done. Now, the other thing that you can also observe from the trend is that, and it's a global phenomenon, because the political parties and the interest groups wherever, when they discover that they are less likely to be able to use the news system to carry their most vigorous messages, they channel those messages through political advertising, because the media houses have less control over advertising content, because it is usually produced by the interest groups themselves and supplied. So in response to that, the Commission has developed guidelines for political advertising with support from Star Ghana and the British High Commission, and we will be launching those by next week. We are extremely sure that whilst people still have concerns and fears, the work that the Foundation has done has made major contribution in bringing some decency on the airways, and we are particularly happy and grateful, and we want to congratulate the Foundation for this and all those who have supported the Foundation. It is our hope that as we get into the election, all of us are going to strengthen our hands, work together, cooperate with each other, and do the best that we can for our country, for the sustenance of peace and democracy. On that note, we want to say echo to the Foundation once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. George Sapong. And we're almost here. Let me announce that there's a number which GIBA monitoring program, it's 0302 9794697071. So 69 or 7071, 0203, I beg your pardon, 0302 979469 or 70 or 71. We'd now hear some brief remarks by Professor Kwame Kakari, and our chair would give us his closing remarks, then would close for the day. Prof.
Thank you once again, Shamima. I think, first of all, from the various presentations we have heard this morning, we can see some common or similar examples of the state of the media in many parts of Africa, and therefore the conditions which propel the media to behave in those ways that today we are not happy with. But also, we can also see very clearly the central role of politicians in misdirecting gullible and pliable journalists and media. That is very, very important. Therefore, I think we can say that it is the responsibility of political parties and their leaders to provide leadership, to set examples that they respect honorable social and cultural values such as truth, searching, truth speaking, and decency. Because it is inconceivable for any persons who want to play leadership roles in any community to show examples in manners that are contrary to the social and cultural values that we cherish. You can't want to be an MP, a DCE, a president, and sit idly by when you yourself or your supporters are behaving in ways that do not enhance the values that society cherish. And so we would like to once again appeal to the political parties and their leaders to show good leadership examples. Let me say also that the electorate must insist that the candidates focus on issues that affect their lives. Listeners must also call radio stations to focus on providing reliable information that help the citizen to improve his or her knowledge and understanding of things in society. We would like also to endorse the initiatives by the National Media Commission and the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association to raise standards. We should not only be concerned about the media practice during elections, we should be very concerned about how they behave in between elections, because as we heard from the examples in Cote d'Ivoire, for instance, in between elections, the media and the politicians can set the foundation for disaster during elections. So we are happy that the National Media Commission and GIBA are setting up initiatives that will help improve the standards of professionalism and ethics in the media. We will also like, though it did not come up for discussion here, we would also like to advise citizens to use the social media in ways that promote knowledge and social harmony and progress, because some of the websites that are managed by sections of Ghana are not very respectable, because the contents of some of these websites are divisive and they don't encourage knowledge and enlightenment. And we would like to advise all people who are using the social media to also be careful how they use those social media, because as we heard from Kenya, and we know examples in Britain where people using Twitter and others to foment or to create racist abuse, for instance, have been apprehended and put in jail through the courts. So again, let us endorse the important point our brother from Kenya said, that at the end of the day, it is you, the journalists, and not the radio station, nor even the politician who is hiding behind, who is faceless, who will be held accountable. So we all have a stake in promoting radio media that are for knowledge and information. Would like, therefore, on behalf of the Media Foundation for West Africa, to thank IBIS and Star Ghana for giving us the support to do the projects that we are embarking on now. We'd also like to express our thanks to GIBA and then the National Media Commission, and to the representatives of the political parties who also joined us to assure us that they are with us in our quest for a civilized way of doing politics. I would like also to express our appreciation for the leaders of the different faiths who have joined us this morning to bless us and also to ensure that we all work in peace. Lastly, even though we'll give a particular expression of appreciation, I would like to express our appreciation to our chairman, the Most Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante, for coming in here and gracing this occasion for us. This is an assurance that what we are doing is respected by highly respectable citizens in this country. And if there is anything to make us happy at all, it is the recognition that what we are doing is also acceptable to all of you distinguished citizens of this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that today's event has shown the potentially negative ramifications of indecorous and intemperate expressions in electoral campaigns and irresponsible media reportage, using the sad experiences from our kith and kin in Kenya and Cote d'Ivoire, where the media were blamed for being either instrumental, accomplice, or victim and unwitting pawn in the political violence that affected the said countries. Political insult is a remark that treats with scornful abuse or offers indignity or serves as an affront to one's political opponents. In my view, democracy calls for the politics of ideas, that is, public debate on political ideas of individuals competing for political power. In other words, in a democratic contest, concern is competition of ideas rather than trading of insults. Our politics should be issue-driven rather than rhetoric attack on political opponents. I still believe that an eye for an eye will leave all blind. We must understand that our credential as the pride of African democracy, our reputation as an oasis of electoral peace and democratic stability in the sub-region can hardly be sustained in the context of politics of vituperations. And I share the view expressed by Theatre of the School of Communication, University of Ghana, that the following, which seem to characterize the media landscape in Ghana, can be combustible ingredients with which the flames of conflict can be ignited if they are left unchecked. These are a deficit of professional and ethical capacity, and I think it is important for the Media Commission and for all stakeholders to be concerned about unprofessional, untrained people going about with the tag of journalist. I think it must be a matter of concern to all of us. Then a blatant bipartisan polarization of media and practitioners. It is not something we should really be happy about, because it doesn't help our nation. A propensity to sensationalize and exaggerate stories. Headlines even in our newspapers. I know it's a kind of thing that you do to try to get people buy your paper. Sometimes you are television and you see strong headlines, and you want to stop and buy the paper, and after you have read the whole thing, say, what is this? A tendency towards the fragrant, politically motivated misrepresentation of issues, and a lack of cultural sensitivity in the treatment of sectarian, especially ethnic and religious issues. We should be careful about this kind of thing that we seem to be promoting in our country through the media, and a propensity towards personal attacks in the name of free speech, free expression. You know, the journalist did mention that we should be taking people on. We're living in a country where we leave everything to God. But we should not also continue to do the things that we do. Journalists should aspire to gain a kind of recognition that will be based on professionalism, good journalistic, practice of journalistic ethics, rather than being notorious for promoting things that are divisive in our country. We will do well as media practitioners, as politicians, as citizens of this country to hold these in check. On this note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish to bring the curtain down on today's event. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, guest speakers, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the board, management and staff of the Media Foundation for West Africa, we want to say a very big thank you to God Almighty for how far He's brought us. Next, we want to say a special thank you to our chairman, Most Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante, for being here in spite of his busy schedule. We say thank you and God richly bless you. We appreciate your coming. To our guests from Kenya, we say Asante Sana. Thank you for coming. To Mr. Do from Côte d'Ivoire, we say merci beaucoup. And to all our guests, we are very, very happy for your presence, for coming. If you hadn't been here, this program wouldn't have been a success. So we say thank you very much. We also want to thank Star Ghana and Able's Ghana for their continued support to the foundation and its activities. A special thanks also goes to our partner, our media partner, FM, then to Unique FM, and the Media Foundation for West Africa's partner radio stations across the country. We thank you for letting the whole of Ghana hear of this forum and the discussions that have gone on so far. To the other media friends who are here, we thank you for the coverage, and we believe that we will be hearing more of this forum